Hello everyone, welcome to Chelsea Sport Focus. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of breaking news. Let's get started.
Chelsea have inquired about another left winger despite signing Alejandro Garnacho and Jamie Gittins. When Chelsea's summer window slammed shut, most thought the Blues had finally drawn a line under their winger obsession. Alejandro Garnacho, the electric Argentine prodigy, had just arrived in a stunning £85 million move from Manchester United. Jamie Gittins, the English-German dynamo from Borussia Dortmund, had already joined the new Maresca project. And Willian, the teenage sensation from Palmeiras, already being called Messinho in Brazil, had officially signed, ready to bring Samba magic to Stamford Bridge. That should have been enough. More than enough. But Chelsea, in typical Chelsea fashion, never stop scouting, never stop exploring, and never stop dreaming. According to TeamTalk, the Blues have now made an inquiry for AS trend winger Sonni Suleiman, a 19-year-old Nigerian starlet quietly making waves in Slovakia's top division. At first glance, it feels excessive. Chelsea already have Garnacho, Gittins, and even Giovanni Quenda, another highly rated teenage winger, set to arrive next year. Add in Pedro Neto and Noni Madueke, and the club seems oversaturated with wide options. Yet beneath the surface, there's a method to this madness, one that fits Enzo Maresca's vision of building the youngest, most fluid attacking unit in European football. The new name, Sonni Suleiman. Sonni Suleiman might not be a household name, not yet, but those who've watched him at AS Trend speak of a player who combines raw pace with unpredictable flair. At just 19, he has made 7 senior appearances this season, scoring 2 goals and assisting 1. He is not a finished product, but what makes him stand out is his dribbling confidence and his ability to carry the ball under pressure, a trait that Chelsea scouts have been instructed to prioritize under the new recruitment policy. A product of Nigeria's U20 setup, Suleiman's profile fits the new model established by sporting directors Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley. Identify players before they explode, before their price multiplies tenfold. According to TeamTalk, Chelsea have already requested information about Suleiman's situation, with Tottenham Hotspur also monitoring his progress. Spurs are reportedly ready to pounce, but Chelsea's scouting network has been tracking the player since last year's U20 World Cup, where his directness and maturity reportedly impressed the Blues' African recruitment scout. Why another winger? Inside Maresca's tactical vision. For outsiders, the question is simple: why would Chelsea chase another wide player when they already have an army of wingers? But inside Cobham, the thinking is much more nuanced. Enzo Maresca's system doesn't rely on traditional wingers hugging the touchline. Instead, it requires inverted forwards who can operate in tight central areas, interchange positions fluidly, and contribute to pressing traps. That tactical complexity demands not just talent, but variety, players who bring different dimensions. Garnacho, for instance, is a vertical runner, explosive in transition, devastating on counters. Gittins, on the other hand, is a technician, more composed, capable of drifting into half spaces and creating from deeper zones. Willian is a magician, an unpredictable dribbler who thrives one-on-one, a throwback to the days of raw street football. What Chelsea are reportedly seeing in Sonni Suleiman is another type entirely, a chaos dribbler. He's not polished, not yet structured, but that's exactly what appeals to Maresca and his coaching staff. His unpredictability, raw acceleration, and off-the-cuff creativity could give Chelsea a different kind of threat in the final third, one that unsettles defenders when games stagnate. In an age of data-driven transfers, Chelsea's analysts are increasingly drawn to variants, players who can break the rhythm of possession-heavy football. Suleiman, with his loose style and flair, fits that mold. The bigger picture, Chelsea's long-term winger plan. Since Todd Boehly's consortium took over, Chelsea have poured more than £1 billion into building the youngest squad in Europe. But there's a clear structural plan, particularly in attack. The recruitment team believes that elite wide players are the hardest to find, especially those capable of one-on-one destruction. The goal is to create positional depth that ensures longevity. If Garnacho becomes unavailable, if needs development time, or if Gittins struggles to adapt to the Premier League's physicality, there will always be another project ready to step in. This philosophy mirrors what clubs like Manchester City and Real Madrid have mastered: constant pipeline renewal. For example, Madrid had Vinicius and Rodrigo before they hit 20, and now they've added Endrick. Chelsea want to mirror that Brazilian-style ecosystem, a conveyor belt of wingers who mature into world-class assets. Competition and challenges. Of course, nothing comes easy in the transfer market, especially when a young player shows even a glimpse of star potential. Tottenham Hotspur are said to be aggressively scouting Suleiman, viewing him as a long-term successor to Son Heung-min. The Nigerian's representatives are also aware that Chelsea's squad is crowded, and a move to London could stall his progress unless carefully planned. If he were to sign, the most likely scenario would be a loan to Strasbourg, the French side co-owned by the Chelsea ownership group. This pathway has already been used to develop young players like Angelo Gabriel and Andre Santos. However, Suleiman's camp might prefer a club that guarantees first-team football immediately, which could give Tottenham or other European suitors an advantage. Another obstacle is Suleiman's relative inexperience. Scouts love his energy, but there are concerns about his decision-making, especially in the final third. Some within Chelsea's data department reportedly feel it's too early, that he hasn't yet faced enough high-level competition to justify the risk. Maresca's perspective: controlled development. Behind the scenes, Enzo Maresca has been cautious about overloading his squad with too many untested youngsters. He's already integrating Garnacho, Gittins, and Estevao, three massive developmental tasks that demand patience, tactical coaching, and emotional management. Adding another raw teenager like Suleiman might stretch the process further. However, the Italian coach also understands the value of forward planning. He knows football is a cycle of injuries, form dips, and unpredictability. If Chelsea can secure Suleiman now at a reasonable fee and loan him out for a year or two, the risk-to-reward ratio could be worth it. Maresca reportedly values traits over readiness. He believes technical gifts and mentality can be refined, but explosive speed and instinctive dribbling are harder to teach. A look at Chelsea's current winger hierarchy. As it stands, Chelsea's wing hierarchy looks like this. Left wing: Alejandro Garnacho, Jamie Gittins, Estevao Willian, rotational, Mykhailo Mudryk, potential sale. Right wing: Pedro Neto, Noni Madueke, Estevao Willian, inverted role. Future arrivals: Giovanni Quenda, potentially Sonni Suleiman. That list alone paints a clear picture: competition is fierce. But it also underlines the club's philosophy: internal competition breeds excellence. If Suleiman were to join, he'd face a long road to break into the first team. Yet history shows that Chelsea have a knack for unearthing gems. Few had heard of Michael Essien before he became a Stamford Bridge warrior. Even Eden Hazard arrived as a promising League One talent, not yet a global superstar. Financial strategy and loan model. The move for Suleiman would also align with Chelsea's evolving financial strategy under the multi-club model. Instead of spending big on ready-made stars, the club is investing in potential assets, then either developing or selling them for profit. For instance, players like Andre Santos and David Datro Fofana were signed for relatively small fees but could yield significant returns if developed properly. The same principle applies to Suleiman. A £10 to £15 million investment in a player with high resale value fits within the sustainability framework that Berhley's regime is pushing. With financial fair play scrutiny still looming, the days of reckless spending are gone. Now, it's about strategic accumulation, smart gambles with upside. Final thoughts: the endless pursuit of the next big thing. Chelsea's interest in Sonni Suleiman isn't just another rumour, it's a reflection of their identity in the new football era. A club once defined by Galactico spending is now defined by scouting precision. But the risk remains. You can only sign so many wingers before you run out of time and space to develop them. Chelsea's academy is already stacked, Cobham is buzzing with competition, and not every youngster will make the cut. Still, this is the new Chelsea, always planning, always betting on the future, always chasing the next Eden Hazard or Vinicius Jr. And if Sonni Suleiman becomes that next name, if he blossoms in Europe's spotlight, then today's whispers from Slovakia might one day echo as the beginning of another Stamford Bridge success story.